So you have to believe it.
Yep.
First, that it's out there for you.
I love it.
Take the aligned action, but I think it's also important to define what you want so that you can help manifest it. Then take the action to find the person.
Welcome to Love Stories, a relationship podcast for successful women, where we talk about love, dating, relationships, and how great love stories are made. Whether you're searching for the one, you're madly in love, or simply curious about romantic relationships, this podcast is for you. I'm Charlene Byars. Each week, you'll hear from women, couples, and experts, and all the ins and outs on how to create your own love story. I am so passionate about this subject, and I'm so excited to share all the things that you can apply to create a beautiful love story of your own. Cheers to great love. Welcome back to the Love Stories Podcast. I'm your host, Charlene Byars. Hello. For those of you who live here in the United States, we just celebrated Thanksgiving last week, and I hope that you had a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving. And I don't know about you, but wow, did that go fast. Maybe it's just me, but seriously, I think that time is flying by. Or am I just getting older? My dad came to visit us from California, and he's 86 years old. I actually didn't live with my dad growing up because my mom and my stepfather moved us here to Arizona when I was about 10 years old. But I always wanted to live closer to my dad, and I actually wished that we lived in the same state. And through the years, I started realizing that life is just not guaranteed to any of us. And I think that's why I decided to do the work. I started realizing that I was holding resentment and feeling a bit like a victim of the things that happened in my childhood and the people that hurt me. I didn't want that to have a hold on me anymore, and I felt like I was really stuck. So I decided to do the work through that and heal. And in the process, I have worked with different coaches, therapists, and counselors, and did the work to unravel any childhood things and hurt that I've experienced. And I realized because of that, I now hold no bitterness or resentment towards the people who hurt me. I hold no resentment towards the relationships that I thought would last a lifetime because I decided to do the work and clear things from my past. It wasn't easy, but it was so needed. It's actually been the most freeing experience because I truly believe all of us can benefit from doing the work and taking the time to heal and let go of resentment. None of us know how long we have, and removing that bitterness is so freeing and empowering. It allows you to be present and to be in the moment. It allows you to not hold the resentment towards people that hurt you or disappoint you. I have so much gratitude now for my life and all my experiences, both the good and the bad. And I'm so grateful for the time that I have. I'm so grateful I've been able to move forward and create new memories and new experience with the people I love. I am so grateful that I got out of my own way and I actually did the work. And for those of you that can really relate to holding on to resentment from relationships that didn't work or people who wasted your time and lied to you and hurt you and you thought you knew who they were, just know that you can break free of that too and release that energy from your life. Because when you don't get over the matters of the heart and your past relationships that didn't work out, that actually can keep you from attracting and meeting the man of your dreams. So if this is something that you can relate to and you have been experiencing, then I recommend that you book a call with me. As a certified empowerment coach who specializes in life and the matters of the heart, I help you find and heal the root cause. I help women heal their love blocks It's deep healing work and it's so freeing. Once you're able to go through that, everything will start to shift and everything will start to change. You will feel completely different with a completely different perspective, and nobody and no situation will have that power over you anymore. The link to book a call with me is in the show notes. I'm really looking forward to talking to you. Let's talk about the tip of the week, which is, if you are a single woman, spend time in places where high-value men hang out. Here's the deal. I hear often that women don't want to be on dating sites. They want to meet men in person. I first want to say that dating sites are actually an amazing tool and an amazing place to meet high-value men. But it's also important that you get out of the house and go places where high-value men hang out in person. And if you think that spending time in bars and enjoying some liquid courage is the way to meet high-value men, you're wrong. Because men who spend all their time in bars aren't the vibe. I'm just saying, if you want to meet men organically, strategize the best places to meet them. I'm going to give you a hint. One place that high-value men hang out is luxury car shows and auctions. So if you're single, put yourself out there, get out of the house, and go meet some great men. I am thrilled to welcome my next guest to the show today. Barbara Schreihans is the founder and CEO of Your Tax Coach, the creator of the Write Off Your Life course and voice behind the Life-Changing Money podcast. She's a kick-ass tax strategist, business coach, and an all-around master when it comes to wealth and finances. Barbara helps business owners and high net worth individuals in saving tens of millions of dollars in taxes while also growing their profits. When she's not leading her team, coaching clients, or dreaming up new goals for her company, you can find her drinking coffee, hanging out with her family, and traveling the world. I was blown away by my conversation that I had with Barbara. Although Barbara is a very successful woman, it hasn't always been that way. From a very young age, she faced difficult circumstances and no support as a young girl. But Barbara never gave up on herself and didn't give up on love. Although her childhood was definitely not ideal and very challenging, deep down inside, she wanted more for herself. And that created a drive in her and also allowed her to soften her heart and trust in a man, and eventually marrying the perfect man for her. With no further ado, Barbara Schreihans.
Well, hello, Barbara. Oh, girlfriend, I'm telling you, I cannot tell you how excited I have been to have you on this show today.
Thank you.
Yes, and I'm going to say something because I would say overall, a lot of my listeners truly are women that have had great success in their lives. Mm-hmm. But often they also are like, okay, what's going on? I've had great success, but, not so much in the matters of the heart. And when I thought about, women when it came to having great success and also not only having great success, but really having a successful relationship, mm-hmm. You were one that we were like, oh, we got to have Barbara on. We got to have Barbara on, right? Because it seems like, and I know we're going to hear your story today. Seriously, we're going to hear your story and your journey. But it seems like through time, you actually figured it out. And so one of the questions I was thinking about this. Okay, what do I want to ask Barbara to start with? So is it possible, honestly, to have, be a very successful woman, but also have success when it comes to the matters of the heart?
1,000%.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Oh, I love it. See, there you go, ladies. It's going to be a good story. Okay, we got to listen story. Okay, so let me start from here then. Tell me a little bit, honestly, like where you grew up and what was your dynamics when you were a little girl?
Oh my gosh, my parents are crazy. They were drug addicts.
Okay. So seriously, like your parents? Okay.
So super unstable, right? Like my parents were always fighting, like
constantly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Verbal abuse, physical abuse, just like that's all I saw and knew growing up. So like that's what you think is kind of normal.
Of course you do,
know?
right? But let me ask you this. Okay, so you grew up and you already said that from the very beginning that your parents were always fighting. It was just kind of loud and crazy. Where did you actually grow up, and did you have siblings?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was born in LA.
Okay.
But then grew up in Morro Bay, California. It's like this really small town.
Okay.
In California, no one's ever heard of.
No one's heard of
It's like a retirement community.
Really?
I don't even know why we were there.
You're like, but you were there.
Yeah. It's like a very sleepy town.
Okay.
And yeah, I have a little brother who was like 8.5 years younger. So I basically raised him.
You were raising him. Okay. So you're growing up, and, you know, of course, when you're children, we don't even know what's going on. It's whatever it happens is kind of our norm. Right? Like, it's kind of our norm. So you're growing up and your parents are always fighting. It's loud.
Yeah.
And it seems like you said you were raising your brother. So you felt that responsibility, or like a protection.
Yeah. I mean, even when I was like 12, right? My brother was 3 or 4.
Okay.
At the time, people thought like I was mom.
They thought you were mom,
I
really?
always looked a little bit older. Like maybe they just thought I was like a teen mom or something.
Okay.
But
Teen mom. Yeah, you never know.
But people just thought I was mom, and, you know, my parents weren't really around, so.
So you were like kind of mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but then again, I bet you your energy, you probably not even thinking about it at the time. If people already honestly were thinking that you were mom, it might have just the way that you showed up, the way that you were with him. They're like, okay, she's definitely the mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then fast forward. So you're growing up, you're about 12 years old. Your parents are not around. You're not raising, but kind of, right?
Yeah.
Looking after him. So where did all of that play a part in the matters of the heart? Like, did you start getting a little boy crazy early on, or what happened here?
Well, yeah, I was crazy. Like, I think children of a crazy dynamic in their household and growing up with drug addict parents, like, I was boy crazy, like starting in 6th grade and doing things like I definitely shouldn't have been doing.
Right.
As a kid, and even at like, okay, I'm going to tell you this story. I've never told this story publicly before.
Okay, let's hear
like
it.
Friends know it, but at like age 15,
Okay, so you're 15 years old.
I was talking to guys online. That was like just when online, like AOL. Remember,
yes.
like AIM, AOL Instant Messenger.
This is okay.
So this is like, you know, over 20 years ago.
Yeah, you're 15-year-old.
And I just like start talking to this guy.
Okay.
And he's 25 years old. Wow. He thinks I'm like 19, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And also I thought he was 21.
Okay.
So we both thought it was like a closer age gap.
Got it. So when he's thinking she's about 19, you're thinking he's about 21, so we're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my best friend at the time, who we'd been best friends for like 10 years, she also had a crazy family. And so like her coming over, she was the only person I allowed to ever come over because I'm like, my family is fucking crazy.
Yeah, they're
Sorry,
like,
can I cuss?
No, it's okay, yeah.
Crazy. And your family's crazy too. So like we can handle each other's crazy.
We bond together. Bond together, yeah.
So she has a boyfriend at the time who's like also over 18 and was addicted to cocaine. And the 4 of us, like my older boyfriend, her older boyfriend, started hanging out, whatever. And then one night we were at a bonfire and my little brother was with me because I'm the one taking care of him always.
Yeah, you're watching your brother, yeah.
So it was like me, my boyfriend at the time, my little brother, and my best friend, the 4 of us, at a bonfire on the beach in Morro Bay.
Okay.
And her boyfriend calls.
Okay.
And he just hears in the background my boyfriend, but he just hears a guy.
Got it.
And he's like, "Where are you? Like,
what's going on?
You know, are you with the guy?" Yeah.
Hey.
And he's on cocaine, right?
Okay,
so like
he's hyped up,
like raging. Yeah.
Yeah.
And next thing we knew, this car full of guys, I didn't know who it was at the time, pulls up to the beach and starts like doing donuts in the sand to like try to get to us. And they all have a weapon like hanging out of the window. Like there was like a knife and a bat and like.
For real?
Yeah. 4 guys hanging out the window.
Oh my goodness.
So I like grabbed my little brother, of course. Yeah. And we're like running.
You're 15 years old.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
So we're like running into my boyfriend at the time. brand new Mustang. Thank God he had a Mustang because the car was fast.
Okay.
We all like get in the car and like skid out. And I'm like calling, I don't know why I didn't call 911, but I called my mom.
Okay.
And I was like, Mom, we're being chased by these people like there's a bat. And I saw like a gun.
Yeah.
Crazy. As we're speeding down like this really small town, like one-way road.
Yeah.
And luckily my parents lived on a cul-de-sac. So when we pulled in and they were right behind us, they're stuck. Because like they didn't know we're pulling into a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And then right behind them, then the cops came because I called my mom called the cops.
So it's got like
cops came. So I run out with my little brother inside. Meanwhile, my parents did not know I was dating someone.
Okay.
And for sure didn't know I was dating someone over 18.
Over 18 years old, because this is a 25-year-old.
25, which at the time I didn't know he was 25.
You still don't know. Okay. He's thinking you're 19. She's 25.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So the cops get there. I run inside with my little brother. I think my best friend's running inside with me.
Okay.
She ends up, now she knows it's her boyfriend in the car.
Got it.
She sees him. She jets off with him. They were both running. They run through the streets to try to escape the cops. Okay. And I'm like, what are you doing?
What's going on?
I thought she was coming inside to like be safe. So she, last thing I knew, she like runs off with him.
Okay.
And then of course the cops are talking to my boyfriend. And then my parents find out, you're dating a 25-year-old? And I was like, he's 25?
He's 25?
And then he's like, she's 15? Like, holy shit.
How long have you guys known each other at this time? You and the little boyfriend?
Like months. Not very long.
But still.
Like
a
couple months.
A couple months. Okay.
Very new.
He's
so
like,
it was like,
25. She's 15.
And so the cops automatically like charge him with statutory rape.
Because you're...
Even though they didn't even know like if we were like hooking up or not.
Yeah, hooking up or nothing like
which
that.
At the time we were not.
Okay. Got it.
And so they charge him with statutory rape.
Oh my goodness.
They put caution tape around my bedroom because they then went in there and like they took out my like dirty underwear, like my bed sheets, like
the police actually did this.
All this
This
stuff
is an actual thing
to try to find semen. Okay?
Oh my!
And like convict him of it, right?
Yes.
All the while we're like, but these guys just came after us.
Hello, with
weapons,
the knife and the weapon and the car.
So finally, the other cops try to go find them, right? Because they like took off on foot. So they
I'm getting worked up.
So they end up finding them. Yeah. The story's crazy. They end up finding them, and then my best friend, who I thought was my best friend, and mind you, she was my best friend for 10 years.
Because she was the one, your whole time is the only one that you left in the house, and you had this bond with her.
The cops get there, and she freaks out, and she says, I ran away because he raped me. My boyfriend.
Great. But, whoa,
So not only is he like charged with statutory rape, now it's like a serious...
Now this is getting really serious, because she's actually saying...
Yes.
That, and you're thinking, when did this happen?
And it's all to cover her boyfriend so that it was like, oh, they only came after us because they thought this situation happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So not only did I lose a best friend, after 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
My parents obviously were like, you're not dating this person.
Yeah, you're done.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Which granted, I should not have been.
No, I know.
My daughter is now 14 and I'm like, if she was dating a 24-year-old, I would kill her.
Lose your mind.
Yep. Yeah, so long story short, to say, I was not the best boy picker, and I had daddy issues and always dated older men.
Older men, you're...
Because I didn't really have a dad, so, you know.
So you're like, okay, this is kind of like my pattern. Like, I'm not necessarily dating the guys that you would say would be your typical marriage material.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you didn't really know that.
Nothing ever happened with the charges, and we ended up dating for 5 years, which is crazy. Until I was 20, but...
So you ended up dating the guy, right? Okay, he didn't get any charges or anything like that.
Yeah.
So you dated him from when to... So you're about 15?
Yeah. We stopped talking when that stuff happened.
Okay, then when did you come back?
And then a few months later, once like the charges, they were like, nothing happened.
So let's say then you dated him from 16 to...
Almost 21.
To 21. Okay. So if you dated him from 15 to 21, looking back now, was that relationship crazy or what? Or was it cool? Or was it a little bit of this and a little bit of that?
For the most part, it was, I mean, I thought it was good, but probably it was like in comparison to my parents, right? It was like, because then at 16, 17, I moved out, like we moved in together, like.
So you're young.
Yeah.
And you're moving out and doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think maybe looking back, it was good because it was just better than home life.
Than home life.
And then
it was more peaceful.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't ideal.
And then like the relationship ender was really like he started calling me terrible names, and then he cheated on me with one of his coworkers, and then
then that was it.
Bing, bing, boom, done.
So during that time though, because like you said, you talked about, like, I want women to hear this. So a lot of the ways that we do relationships and a lot of the ways that we think about things, it really happens sometimes because of how we grew up and what we learned or didn't learn, right? So as you're growing up and you're in this relationship, overall, were you still thinking like, I want to get married? Because you seemed like you were able to like see a healthy marriage, or was that something like, I don't even know what that's all about?
No, I always wanted to be married and have kids. Yeah. I knew that like really young.
You did. You're like, I do, but you're not sure kind of like what that looks like in the healthier way. But you wanted to be a mom and you wanted to have kids. Okay. Yeah. So when you're in that relationship with that guy for those 5 years, were you thinking you were going to marry him?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Not really. Like, he gave me a promise ring, one time.
Yeah.
I think because I was still like under 18.
Yeah.
It had been like years of dating.
Yeah.
No, I don't really ever thought of marriage.
That wasn't something
him.
You guys, okay. You're just kind of guys just going through the stuff, going through life together, figuring it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So that ended.
Yep.
Then what happens?
Then.
Yeah.
As all women do, I think, during a breakup.
Let's hear it. Ladies, do we do okay? You know how this works.
We try to lose weight to like look better for the, the dating life. So I start going to the gym.
Okay.
And this guy comes up to me and is like, hey, do you remember me? And I was like, oh my gosh. It was this like kid I dated in 7th grade. We, what dating means in 7th grade. Like, I don't know. We passed a note back and forth.
That's it.
For like 2 days.
Yeah. It's a crush. You a little crush.
And so we just started chatting at the gym. And he was living like in Northern California at the time. And I think we're like 6 hours apart. But he was home for summer. Okay. He was playing football, college football.
Okay.
And then we started dating, and he didn't tell me that he had joined the Navy.
Oh.
And he, like, 2 months after started dating again, he was supposed to leave for boot camp. But he didn't tell me till, like, the freaking week before. Of course, when I'm, like, already, like, in love with him. But also that was stupid. It was, like, literally right after dating this other guy for 5 years.
Right.
I start dating. He ends up being my ex-husband.
He ends up being the ex-husband.
Yeah.
Oh, so you went from this long relationship. Honestly, that's a lot happens from that age of 15 to 21?
20, yeah.
20-ish, yeah. A lot of changes and stuff like that. But we're not fully cooked yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As women, all of us, we're not fully cooked. And then if, this is how it is, ladies, seriously. If we don't take some time to, kind of reflect back on, okay, what was that all about? We're young at that time. You're young.
Yeah.
This is normal.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
And I just wanted someone to love me.
And you wanted someone to love you. We have this tendency, this is why we're having the podcast, ladies. Let's not do this anymore. But we have a tendency to just jump right back in.
Yeah.
Jump right back in.
Yeah, and that's
sometimes it works. But the normal, it doesn't sometimes, it's because we haven't figured it out. Okay. Whew. So we could jump back in. We meet the future husband.
Yeah.
Okay. We get married.
Well, he leaves for boot camp.
Oh, he does. That's right. Okay. He leaves for boot camp.
And
then what
in boot camp, if you don't know, like I think it was like 8 weeks at the time or 12 or something. And they're not allowed to have their phone.
Right.
So it's like the love letters, know.
Yes.
And so like every day going to the mailbox, did I get my love letter for the day? And
how is he feeling today?
Yeah. And so and then you write a whole letter back and like it's a whole thing for like 8 weeks.
Yep.
And we had just started dating so we really fell in love over like letters, and thinking of like looking back, it's like I never saw a healthy communication. It was always fighting and yelling and like not really lovey. But then it's like, oh, this is a really cool way to communicate of like, it's just a beautiful love letter, and like there is no fighting and there is no like.
Yes.
So I really think like that's what it was.
That's what it was, because you guys were, because since he left, yeah, that's true. You didn't have that typical, okay, we're going to get to know each other in the sense of how do we communicate with one another? How are we doing it? Yeah, so we are literally falling in love because we're just writing our feelings as we go.
Putting lipstick on and kissing the paper.
Oh, no, I got one better. I bet you even
spray the perfume.
This is it. Yeah. Oh gosh, I've been there, done that. It's amazing. And I actually the lips had to be just perfect and the right lipstick and the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you fall in love with him so back then like a pen pal.
Yeah.
Pen pal. Okay. So then comes out and you guys are.
Yeah, I'm at his Navy graduation, which he didn't think I was going to be there.
Okay.
But I was there. And then somehow, I don't know, I end up moving. He got stationed in Washington. Mm-hmm. And I end up moving to Washington with him. And we do the courthouse thing.
Okay.
My mom had flown up to visit.
How old are you now?
21. Okay. Like, this was so fast.
But just right after. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Out, in.
Yep.
Okay.
And my mom was visiting one time, and I was like, we want to get married, and if you're not going to support it, you can either be at the courthouse right now or not.
Okay.
But you needed 2 witnesses.
Okay.
And I only had my mom there.
Yeah.
So my uncle lived somewhere in Washington, kind of close, maybe a few hours, something. Yeah. She's like, I'll call him to come over. So it was my mom and him, and she didn't even tell my dad. Okay. She was like, your dad will kill you.
Okay.
And I was like, don't tell him. Because I think people knew at that time we were engaged maybe, but I don't quite remember the timeline.
Okay, yeah.
And so we do the courthouse thing. I stay with him through the summer. But this was right when I was supposed to transfer to university. I was at community college before.
Okay.
And I was trying to figure out where do I want to transfer to go to actual school, thinking I was going to maybe go to University of Washington because that's where he was at. But I ended up getting into Cal Poly, which was my dream school in my hometown. So kind of we have a fun fling summer, and I happen to get pregnant.
Okay, so let me back you up a little bit. So you were at the time, obviously you fell for this guy pretty quickly, but then he went away to the military or boot camp. But you guys are really connecting through these love letters, and it's just feeling all warm and fuzzy, right? Because it was very kind probably and very loving. Okay. Then during that time, though, you also were in a frame okay, I want to go to school. I'm going to school. I'm have certain things I want to do with my life, right?
Yeah.
Because you really want to get into that school that you wanted to get into. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're also over here, in your heart, I'm falling for this guy. Okay. So you got a lot of little things happening right now to you.
Yeah.
So now he's back and you move. And then what was the dynamics when you guys were now with each other every day?
Well, now it's we just started dating. Okay. We knew each other a month before he left for boot camp. Okay. And then it's falling in love over 8 weeks. Okay. And then he graduates, and it's the summer fling kind of thing. He graduated in June. Okay. So then it was June, July, August, just so fun. Yay. And the week before I'm supposed to move back home to my dream school, I take a pregnancy test, and I was just oh no.
I'm pregnant.
Am I going to this school?
Yeah, what's up?
School starts next week.
Oh, goodness.
And so, am I even having the baby? Was one thought. Or do I stay here and don't go to school?
Okay.
Or do I leave my husband, now baby daddy, and go to my dream school?
Because you were married already.
Yeah.
That's right.
But nobody knew we were married.
Okay.
So then people thought I was pregnant and not married.
Got it.
A hussy,
Yeah, a hussy. Yeah.
And I chose going to my dream school.
Okay.
Which was the absolute right decision.
Okay.
So I moved back. It's August. School starts. We all knew he was going to be deployed that December.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Iraq was really popping off at the time.
Okay.
And we knew that he was going to be deployed. And so, what happened? He deployed. He was on his way back. Okay. He was actually on the same helicopter that flew Osama bin Laden's body. And,
wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow, what a story there.
Okay. And so I knew it was 2 weeks from when he was going to come back from deployment, but they don't tell you the date because of security. Okay. If any of the wives find out, they change the date that they're going to come back because of just something could happen to their plane.
Yeah.
And so I kind of knew it, like, maybe this will happen in like the next 2 weeks. So I fly up to Washington where our house was.
Yeah.
And get the house like ready, you know, for him to come back. Like,
Yeah.
the utilities were off and, like, you know, it was messy.
Yeah.
And so I fly back up there to get everything turned back on, make it all cute for when he comes back. And I find a skirt, a little mini skirt, and panties that were not mine.
Really?
Under our bed.
Oh.
And at this point, I'm like 8.5 months pregnant.
Damn.
Yeah. So I washed them.
So what do we do, Mama?
I washed them and folded them and put them in his closet.
Okay.
And brought it up when he got back. And he said, oh, no, that was our roommate.
Let me ask you something. Immediately. Oh, you just got me chills.
Yeah.
You're pregnant. You're 8 months pregnant, babe. And you just got married to this guy. And you see this. What happened?
Yeah, I knew. But it was also like, I'm about to have a baby.
Exactly.
I can't deal with this shit right now. I have to focus on the baby.
Damn.
I know.
Okay. So you put it in the closet.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
And he gets home and I bring it up and he says it's the roommate. And I was like, so you're telling me your roommate had sex in our room?
Yeah, that's kind of weird, but okay. Like, I'm
like,
not
I don't know. Maybe
like,
a different place. Like,
maybe,
spice it up.
I don't know. Is she little, okay. Mm-hmm.
And also I'm like, I'm not stupid.
Yeah, I'm not stupid. And I'm pregnant.
But I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know 100%, but my gut.
Oh, yeah, I knew.
I know.
And
We do this.
I know.
I know.
But it was like, you know.
Ladies, we get this. This is why we're telling these stories.
Yeah.
Because we do this. This is what we do.
It's also like.
It's actually not our fault. You don't understand that.
Right.
It's like we do the best we can for the time that we are and the healing that we're at and the situations we're at. I mean, I look back myself as a woman and all the decisions and all the choices that I have made, and I understand now why. You know, some were good, some not, some worked out, some didn't. It's okay. It was my journey too.
Yeah.
But so I totally see this. Okay.
Well, and it was also like, I don't want to stress out the baby.
Oh, I know.
So I'm just like not going to
baby.
deal with, like, I'll just push it under, you know? And I kind of did that my whole life anyway. It's like, okay, well, things are crazy. Just move on.
Mama, come on. You actually have been in survival mode since you were a little girl.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how you've been surviving. You had to think about that. Like if you were really not pushing things aside, you'd probably be falling apart all the time.
Right.
Right? You had this type of something in you that was like, okay, I'm going to keep going forward. This is where your drive comes from. Woof. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So,
I'm like, okay.
So I have the baby and
Okay, you have
he
the baby.
gets 10 days of paternity leave.
Oh.
So he spends 10 days with us.
Okay.
I'm still like bleeding.
Yeah.
When he's leaving. And so he goes back up to Washington because he has work to do.
And you had the baby.
And I had school. I had him on spring break and I went back the next week.
So now you have baby and you're going back to school? Mm-hmm. And now how old are you? 22. 22.
Yeah.
And do we have help or family around or no?
I mean, his parents helped a little bit, I guess.
Okay.
Just in terms of, like, I lived with them the first year that I had my son.
He wasn't really, you were kind of on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't watching the baby.
Yeah.
They just
kind of like.
Yeah, I couldn't work I always had worked full time and multiple jobs. Okay. And at that point, it was like my senior year and with a newborn. So I was working less.
College, right? You're a senior in college?
Yeah, college.
So you have one more year to go. Okay.
Yeah. And so he goes back up to Washington, kind of works. I see him like Christmas break, spring break, like not very much, right? Because I'm in school.
Yeah.
And then he comes back for my son's first birthday party. Okay. And it was both sides of the family. My family, his family's first grandbaby. So this is like a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Like the first
baby. Yeah.
And so I threw a huge party, like huge. Families flying in from all over. He gets there the night before. And my cousin and I, who's like my best friend, like my sister.
Okay.
Her and I are like, I remember it so vividly. You ever read the book, The Hungry, Hungry Caterpillar? Maybe not. But
The Hungry. Yeah, I read it to my kids.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So it's like
Yes.
a really colorful kids book,
Yes.
Eric Carle. So that was
Yes.
the theme of the party. And so we were making these caterpillar skewers out of grapes, yellow or green and purple grapes. I remember we're in the kitchen, we're making these damn skewers.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had to make like 100 of them.
Yeah.
And so like 20 in, we're like, we really shouldn't have.
Well, we know
made
you
these-
overachiever here.
These
You know, you're like, we're
caterpillars.
gonna really.
I know.
Yeah.
So we're like doing these dang skewers, and we're in the kitchen, and I turn behind, and I see my husband texting, and I just kind of like put my head over his shoulder, like, "Hey, baby," and I see the text, and it says, "I miss you. I can't wait to kiss your lips again."
This is after the baby now.
Yeah, it's almost his first birthday.
So it was about a year
and
old.
I just go, and my cousin knew the sound.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And just snatches the phone out of his hand like so fast.
Your cousin?
And she runs outside.
Ooh. Yeah.
And I don't know what she's doing because I'm like,
She's on the phone. She's on it. She's like, yeah.
And I'm with him like, really? Like, what the hell?
What's going on? Yeah.
And after he and I are fighting, I go outside to see what my cousin is doing. And she's like, I've already talked to 14 of them.
Your cousin was that quick?
Oh, she's good.
We love the cousin.
Yeah.
We love the cousin. Wow. It's like, what does she do for a living, babe? No, I'm just kidding.
What's funny?
What?
Forensic science.
No, that's not funny.
So,
oh my goodness.
I was like,
you're
14?
like 14. It's not just one?
And this party is supposed to be the next day.
Aye.
So
Oh,
again,
goodness, I'm getting uncomfortable right now.
I know.
I know.
So the next day,
What do you do?
I do what I always did. I was just like, I can't deal with this right now.
Okay.
The party's tomorrow, and we have so many family members
And
that
those
are flying
14
into.
ladies are going to wait.
And so we have the dang party, and I just pretend everything is fine, even though
Why do we do this
everything
as
is in
women?
shambles. Yeah.
Why?
And then I slap him with divorce papers like 3 days later. Mm-hmm. And in front of his parents. And his mom says, "You're a fucking bitch."
No.
Yeah.
Does she know about the 14 women?
No. And she still doesn't. But it was just like,
I'm out.
like, you're my kid's grandma.
Yeah.
And you're going to say that?
You're going to say that to me? What'd I do to you, lady?
Yeah.
And nobody, and you know, that's interesting too, because that's, wow. Nobody actually knows what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Honestly. Mm-hmm. Because people can share, but you really don't know. Mm-hmm. And so
it was really...
and really, honestly, like, when you think about that, if she's the grandma of your children and she actually doesn't really know, I mean, why wouldn't she just be kind and not have to? But that's how people are.
Yeah.
Sometimes, man, people are just like, oof.
Well, and his dad was like the mayor of our city and have family really high up in the government. And I think it was more of just like how is that going to look for their family?
It was all about
type
that.
of thing.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So now, Missy, we got married, and we always knew we wanted to get married and we wanted to have a kid, but it just happened a little differently than you probably were planning on it. And so you're still, did you graduate or are we still graduating college?
Yeah, I graduated on time, and then I
Okay.
ended up getting my master's.
Okay.
And my son walked me on the graduation stage.
He did? How old was he?
He was like not even 2. It's my favorite picture I have. Someone happened to sneak it. Yeah, one of the other graduates behind me snuck the picture and ended up texting it to me like 2 weeks later, and it was just like the cutest thing.
Like the best.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're like, I can imagine going through the divorce. That was devastating. That was a lot happening. But then now you have, okay, but I'm still going to keep going forward.
Yeah.
I'm going to go forward. I have my son. I'm graduating.
Yeah.
And where was your mindset back then? Were you still thinking, okay, I'm just, what? Did you do any healing? Were you able to like go talk to someone? Because that was a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
But no, I was too busy, right?
You're
like
too
we all
busy.
get too busy. And I had just graduated. I got what I thought was my dream job at the biggest accounting firm in the world and moved to the Bay Area for that job. So I was a single mom, no family, like literally no help around.
Like on your own.
On my own.
Wow.
And then ended up with a job working like 80 to 90 hours a week. Wow. And it was so hard.
Where was the baby?
Daycare.
Yeah.
And luckily, like, he was now at a school that you could drop them off at 6 a.m. and pick them up at 6 p.m. But, like, that still sucks, right? You don't see your kid for so long.
Yeah. But you didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Because you had to make money.
Right.
And you had to raise a kid. And, some people have situations that, they have the grandparents or they have people to help, but that wasn't your story. That wasn't your story.
Yeah.
So, again, you're doing the best you can.
Right.
I got you, girl. I got you. But that was a lot.
Oh, it was so hard.
That was a lot,
I don't know.
girlfriend. As a mama, wow.
Looking back, I don't know how I did it because I have, like, so much help now.
Yeah.
But I was a single mom for years, and
I think you just put, honestly, it seems like from the beginning, from when you were a little girl, I'm going back to, that's who you've been from the beginning. Look how you already took that on. That's special. Look how you took that on with your brother when you were 12 and younger, taking that responsibility. So really understand, I'm just going to put this type of hat on and I got to keep going forward. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. And so when you look back and you're wondering, how did I do it? Girlfriend, you've been doing that since you were a little girl.
Yeah.
You've been going through stuff after stuff after stuff and still moving forward.
Yeah.
So you go forward. And you're going through this, and you're going through this. And is men at all on your mind anymore as the years go by, or pretty quickly again? What was that for you? Were you still like, I still want somebody? Or were you kind of like, nah, I'm not sure right now?
I think I always just yearned for, like, love and
did.
validation.
Yeah.
And so, but found it in all the wrong places and with the wrong guys and for the wrong intentions. It was kind of just like, oh, men have hurt me, so I can hurt them back. And, like, I'm just going to
You had that little...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to use them for, like, a free dinner and sex.
Right.
And, like, go on your way.
Yeah. I'm just going to, like, boss them around now.
Yeah. No one can hurt me now.
No one's going to hurt
hearts
me.
Closed. Like,
Closed.
yeah.
Okay. So how long did we do all that?
I mean, a couple of years.
Couple years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so let me ask you this. So you're kind of like, just going through the motion with the guys. You're really thinking, okay, I'm done. Like, I don't want to, maybe it's not in the cards for me, or maybe, there's not really great guys. Was it kind of like that more mindset, or you're just not really thinking?
Yeah, I definitely was like, I'm not going to get married again. Okay. I mean, I was divorced at like 22 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't want to get married again. I'm just going to, like, use them for what I need them for and spit them out.
And then you're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Until what happened?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lordy. Go for ladies, listen to this. You know what I love? Okay, listen to this before you even start, Barbara. So we went from, we learned how Barbara kind of grew up, right? And the things that she went through and how she, got married young and then the guy and all this stuff. And years go by. But something that she's about to tell us, this is what I love about this, something starts shifting or something happens. Because I know you're married now and you're so happy. Okay. What happened?
Well, I was...
So you're going through bad guys after bad guys, whatever. Yeah. Okay.
All the dating apps. Like,
all the dating apps.
This is now the era of, like, dating apps. Okay. So it's, like, Plenty of Fish, Bumble.
You're doing it all.
Tinder, all of them. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Also, I'm a single mom, have no time, work all the time. Where am I going to meet a guy?
Yeah.
Other than maybe the gym.
Okay.
And also at that time, I was training super hard I was competing in CrossFit. So, like, I was at the gym 3 hours a day.
Of course you were.
Yeah. Because also, it was, like, another hard breakup. And so what do you do when you break up? It's like,
we go work out.
I got to get that body back.
Get that body.
And so...
Mama,
I'm dating like 4 guys.
Okay.
And I end up matching with this guy on Tinder.
Okay.
You know how Tinder works?
Yes.
Like, so
I literally just interviewed, you love this. I just interviewed a lady prior to our interview today, and she met her husband on Tinder.
Well,
okay, so this is good. You guys are gonna plug Tinder. I don't know what's happening right now. Okay,
I need a sponsorship for sure.
Oh, okay. What happened?
So my rule of thumb,
yes,
because my standards were so high, was that I will only talk with them.
Okay.
I'll only message back if they super like me.
Okay.
So there's a like and a super like.
Ooh.
But you only get 2 super likes a day.
Okay. So you've had to really think about
So
this.
if I'm one of their 2 that they super like, then I'll talk with them, but that's it.
That's it.
So
she's a badass. Listen to her.
So this one guy matches with me. And actually, I remember seeing his picture.
Oh, my goodness.
And his profile picture was him in an army uniform.
Oh.
And I went, nope. Not doing that again.
We did that before.
And also there's a story in between that. I did that twice. Okay. So military was like out.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. But then I was like, well, it's just a one night stand. So whatever, like he'll be a good time.
She's like, oh, it's okay. Whatever. Yeah.
So we match and we end up chatting, and he was learning French at the Language Institute in Monterey. And that's how we matched because I was in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And we end up just like talking till 3 a.m. And it's during tax season. Okay. And where I'm already working like 100 hours a week, single mom, training 3 hours a day for CrossFit.
Yeah, you guys got to see what she's done, and like very successful woman here. Okay.
How the hell I had time to talk to someone till 3 a.m. when I had to get up at 4 to go train. Now, this happened for 6 weeks. Never met the guy.
This is like really going on.
Every night till 3 a.m. during tax season. Wow. But he like never asked
to see you,
to meet me.
Okay.
And then one night we were chatting and I was like, are you married or something?
Like, yeah, like what's up?
Why haven't you asked me out on a date? And he's like, I don't know. I'm busy. You're busy. Like, I don't know. And I'm like, if you don't come to my house right now, this was like 9 p.m. So my son was asleep because I'm not going to like have him meet. You know, my son.
I mean, your son's asleep.
So I'm like, you need to come to my house right now to prove to me like you're real. And I mean, we were FaceTiming, so I knew he was real.
Okay.
But like, also that you're not married and or like have a weird situation.
Have another family.
Like,
have a
why
family.
are you not?
Yeah. Why are you like? What's up?
And he's like, okay, I'm about an hour and 20 minutes away from you, so I'll see you in an hour and a half. And I was like, oh, okay.
Did you get a little nervous, or were you like, okay?
No, I wasn't nervous, and I honestly was like,
because you're FaceTiming him already. You've been talking for so long. Okay. Yeah.
And so also I was like, but my son's here. Like, you need to make sure you're gone by like 3 a.m. so he doesn't wake up.
Your guys' normal timing.
And he's like, okay. So he gets there and like walks through the door. And I was just like looking back for sure, we both fell in love like the second he walked through. Real? But we were both playing hard to get.
Okay.
And so I say it was like a one night stand gone wrong. He came over, spent the night. I kicked him out at the time. I said that he had to leave.
Yeah.
And he says I did this on purpose.
Okay.
But apparently I made him breakfast. In his eyes, he says I made him breakfast. All I did was give him like a protein bar and a coffee. And he thought that was like the nicest thing in the world.
That's adorable.
But like the mom and
he's like, she made me breakfast.
Yeah.
Babe, I literally just gave you a coffee and a bar. But okay, you know.
But
that's adorable.
To me, I'm like, I'm a mom and like.
Yes. Yeah. Like, here you go.
Yeah. You need a snack. It's the morning. I don't know.
Yeah. Here you go.
You have a long drive.
Yeah. What's up with that? Yeah.
But he also says, but the coffee you gave me was like a nice Yeti cup. So you wanted me to come back to give you your cup back.
You wanted your cup.
I was like, I did not think that hard. Like, don't give me that credit. And remember, I'm dating 4 guys at the time.
That's right. Yes, that's right. You're talking to different guys. You're doing your thing. Yeah.
We met April 10th.
Oh, can I say this real quick? This is perfect. Ladies, listen. If you're single and you're not in a committed relationship, it's actually really healthy. And the way to do it is talk to different men at the same time. We're not sleeping with them. We're just getting to know them. We're just seeing who you're who you're having alignment with. And what's really cool is when you are talking to different guys, you can kind of like compare. You can say, you know what? Actually, I really like, I don't know your man's name, but I'm just going to tell the ladies this. I really like Bob. But you know what? There's something about Steve. You know, so it's really wonderful to compare because that is such an opportunity that, you're getting to see different guys. So I like that you were actually dating.
Yeah. Hey.
Guys, you're a single woman.
Right.
Ladies, that's what we do. Go.
So it was like April 10th.
Okay.
2016.
I love it.
And tax season's over April 15th.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And at the accounting firm I was at, they throw a big party on April 15th.
Okay.
It's like rooftop at a big, nice, fancy hotel.
It's like we're going to go crazy here. Yeah.
And so I invited one of the guys I was dating. This was before I met my now husband.
Yeah. Because you weren't in a committed relationship.
Right. So I invited DT. That was his name.
Let's do that.
And he was so excited, like honored. He bought a new suit for this party, like all the things.
Oh, wow.
So April 11th, now husband stays the night again.
Okay.
And he's like, what about that tax party? And I was like,
no, he does not.
I was like, what about it? And he's like, who are you taking to the tax party? And I was like, well, I already asked DT, and like he has a suit, and he's really excited, and I would feel really bad. Like he already spent money.
DT's a nice guy.
He's really nice. And he's like, well, if you go to that party with him and it's at a hotel, are you going to stay the night with him?
He asked you.
And I was like, well, yeah.
Okay.
He's like, well, you know what's going to happen if you stay in a hotel with him? And I was like, well, but I already invited him. That would be mean. And he's like, well, then I'm not going to take this seriously if you're not going to take this seriously. And I was like, oh, I didn't think he was taking it seriously.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah.
I thought it was just like,
you like he was,
And he was the military again, and I knew he was going to leave soon.
Yeah, so you're like,
because he's just there for training.
Yes.
So I'm,
kind of like,
my heart's closed off on that.
Yeah.
And so he stays over the next night again. It's April 12th, April 13th.
Yeah, he's there.
April 14th, and he's like, what are you doing tomorrow, like, for the tax party? And I was like, what are you doing tomorrow? Like, do you want to go to the tax party? And he's like, oh, what about DT? And I was like,
no, he's asking about DT. Oh, my goodness.
I'll break the news to DT that he can't come, and you'll be invited. And so then we fell in love. Yeah.
That's awesome. You know what? There was something different about this one, I'm telling you.
It was so hard to uninvite the other guy. I felt so bad, but I knew it had to happen.
DT, it's okay, DT. She fell in love. She's in a great relationship with her man. It's
I
okay.
hope he's married and so happy.
I hope DT's doing okay. You know what I mean? But he wasn't the one.
Yeah.
What was the difference between your husband now and all these other guys that you've dated before?
Oh my gosh, he makes me laugh every day. He's so charming, and he's like my protector and always like puts me in like the highest regard. Like I'm like, you think I'm like perfect. I'm really not, but thank you.
But thank you.
Yeah.
Girlfriend, what advice actually, what a story right now. I mean, honestly, what a story. Because I know that you have this great relationship. What's your man's name? Matt. I know you and Matt have a great relationship, but you've gone through so much.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of us go through a lot of stuff, right? We go through a lot of stuff. What would you say to women that are in that space? They're like, is there any good men out there anymore? What's up?
Yeah.
What would you say to them? What do you tell them?
I think a lot of us get in our own way. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd never been treated that nice before.
Nice.
And that, like a queen, and it feels weird at first.
It did.
And, they say, like, the nice guys finish last. Mm-hmm. And, like, you want it to be more of, like, a fight and, like, whatever. I don't know.
I think that's just our trauma.
Yeah.
I think that's just our nervous system.
We just have to get out of our own way and let them love us and let them, like, treat us like the queens that we are.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
How were you able to do that?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Our story still was crazy. Like, we met. Mm-hmm. I knew he was going to leave. I didn't know when. Yeah. Because he was just there for training.
The training.
And it ended up like a month in, he was like, I'm PCSing to North Carolina, which means permanent change of station.
Okay.
They're moving me to North Carolina long term. So I'm a single mom in California, grew up there my whole life. I meet a guy online.
Yes.
And a month later, he's asking me to move to North Carolina.
Right.
And he's like, but I'll provide a better life for your family, for your son. The cost of living is less. I'll buy you a house. I'll buy you your dream ring. Like, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. And mind you, we were both recently divorced, and both of us said we were never going to get married again because our divorces were so terrible.
So terrible, right? Yeah.
But there was just something weird and like we knew. And
you seem like from the beginning with this one, there was some safety, like there was something with you with him, that you felt safe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is what it sounds like with this story.
Yeah.
So I think that has to be it. I'm not saying that's it.
Yeah.
I'm just talking here, but I'm saying there's something there because I'm saying you're doing it a little different with this one than you've done in the past.
Yeah.
You're feeling a little different. So ladies.
But I was still trying to
like
push it away, like
because you're fighting your old, like, you know what I mean. You're not sure. You're scared.
And so he's telling me all these things, like I'll buy you the house, the ring, like your son will go to a better school.
This is true.
All this stuff.
Yeah.
And I say, well, I have no more PTO because I am a single mom, and when my kid's sick, I have to take sick leave. So like I don't even know when I'm gonna go to North Carolina to like see if I even like it. How am I gonna get a job? Like all this stuff. And so I was like, I have 1 day of PTO. I'm going to take a red eye there, and I'm going to take a red eye back. And in that 1 day, if I can find a house and a job, I'll consider moving with you. So I take the red eye. 8:30, I have an interview. I nail the interview.
Oh my goodness.
They keep my California salary in North Carolina.
Wow.
And so I say, okay, the only thing I have to do now is by the time I fly out tonight, I need to find a house.
Wow, you really are. Wow, you're.
But every house I look at that I like already had an offer put in.
Okay.
So I'm on my way to the airport to fly home,
the
red eye, and I get a text and then followed up really quickly by a phone call. So I answer the phone, and it's my real estate agent, and she's like, I know we couldn't find you a house, but I know you're on the way to the airport, and this house is on the way to the airport, but it's for sale by owner, so I don't know if you want it.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, Uber, like turn this way. I go to check out the house. It's the owner showing me around because it's for sale by owner.
Yeah.
And he shows me the garage, and I go, how do you have a CrossFit Inferno sticker? It was my CrossFit gym in California.
No.
And he's like, I used to go there before I moved here. And I was like, that's where I go right now.
That's where I go.
And so we didn't have the highest offer for that house, but he gave it to us just because of that.
For real?
And so I found the job and the house, and we were supposed to move August. So this would have been 3 months after meeting him, like 4 months after meeting him. And the day before we're supposed to leave to move cross country, 7 days in a moving truck, we get a call from the lender, and he says, well, actually, we're sitting on the back porch. I remember we're watching my son play in the backyard. And you know when someone's on the phone and their phone is so loud, you can hear their conversation? Yeah, you can hear
the whole conversation.
So like,
supposedly when people say when I'm talking, they can hear my conversation on the phone. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, totally.
So he answers his phone.
Okay.
But I'm next to him, so I can hear it.
So you can hear the whole conversation.
And so I hear the lender say, you're not going to get the loan unless you guys are married. And I can see his face just like, fuck. And I look at him and I say, I'd marry you. And he goes, oh, really? And the lender's like, you'd have to get married today.
No.
Because I need the marriage certificate by 2 days from now. It takes 48 hours to get your marriage certificate. And so we hung up the phone. We went to the courthouse and we got married after 3 months.
Serious? Oh my goodness.
So I joked that we got married for a mortgage. So it was really hard because we got married and then had to really date each other. Because it was 3 months. And so we moved to a whole new state across the country, like everything brand new. So the first 2 years were really hard.
Really hard, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I started my business 5 years ago.
Okay.
Because of him, he like pushed me to do it.
That's nice.
And so I wouldn't be here today without him and his push, but also I had been pushing him the whole time. I was like, you deserve more than getting paid $50,000 a year to risk your life in the military. Like,
wow,
like,
you guys are awesome.
And so I retired him 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you guys went through your rough spot, in the 2 years. And you guys, listen, let me tell you something. This is another story I want to say. You can find your right person. You can find someone that you can have alignment with and you guys can make it work. It doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. And it still means that you have an opportunity to both of you heal with each other and learn with each other, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what happens. So when you have two imperfect people, because that's what it is, we come together. If it's the right alignment, then that's when you have that opportunity to kind of give each other room to work each other out. Now, if you have two in-healed people and you come together and there's just no room to work it out, that's where the relationships don't work. That's just it. So that's how you know, because you're not going to meet someone that's perfectly healed, because you're never going to be perfectly healed. That is something that you keep doing and you keep learning, you keep maturing.
Yeah.
And so you two, it seems like that's exactly what you did. You're like, okay, it's a little rough, but we love each other. We want to get to know each other. And we're going to, honestly, it was like you guys were being each other's best friends.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and it was so hard the first 2 years,
so
but we
sweet.
knew that we loved each other and we were so in
Yes.
love that we were like, we have to be different than our families that we grew up with. And so we really healed together. And
I love that.
And I think it's hard, like, I think a lot, at least from what I hear from my friends, is like, they want to, like, the girl wants to heal. The woman wants to heal, like, maybe go to therapy is their thing. And so, but the guy doesn't want to go. Like, the guy's like, no, that's not for me.
He's like, no, that's not for him.
And luckily, like, everything that I wanted to try, my husband was, like, curious about it.
That's awesome.
Too after. Yeah. So I think that's really important. Like, and I was always the one that tried it first.
Yeah.
And told him what was great about it for me.
I love that.
And that allowed him to do it. Whereas I think a lot of people are like, well, I'm doing therapy, so you should too. They like should all over them.
Nope.
And I think you just have to like heal yourself, and hopefully that they'll want to heal with you.
Spot on, girlfriend. Let me, woo, that's good. That's really good. That's what it is. If you're in that relationship and you guys, you have to be able to, also that relationship can give you an opportunity to heal, but healing is really taking responsibility for yourself and how you're showing up and why you're showing up that way and our triggers. And you had, you grew up with probably had a lot of trauma. So that comes out. That stuff comes out in relationships.
Yeah.
So that happens because when a woman has that opportunity to kind of start it first, because women are like, why do I have to start it first? It's just what we do. Women, we're more emotional. We're more into this guy strategy, like, I'm okay. But when women start applying a change, and they're like doing some healing, some growing, some maturing, it actually, if you have the right guy, it gives the man an opportunity to be like, oh, we're doing it differently now. Okay, she's not yelling, I can't yell. That's good. That's good. So let's go back then to women. What advice would you give them if they're single and they're thinking, there's no good guys out there, Barbara, you got the last one?
Well, that's just a limiting belief.
Okay.
And like what you think is what you're going to attract. There's always a possibility for anything and everything. It's the same with money mindset. Like if you have a scarcity mindset, then you're never going to make more money. If you have a money block, you can't get past that. It's the same with love.
Do you know
it's
that
all
that's,
energy.
I love that you're saying this, because we're gonna go into something else too. That's so true, because I work as a relationship coach, and women come to me and they have a lot of love blocks, but they also have money blocks. They go together.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Tell them what you do for a living.
I save people money in taxes.
Yes. And how they actually go from, like, when people are when it comes to taxes, and they have businesses or stuff like that, what is one of the main blocks also that you see in your business and how you help people? Because what we just talked about, there's something here with the heart and the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in general, right? Like we see everyone's money.
Okay.
If we're doing your taxes,
yeah,
and we're doing the bookkeeping for your business, like we know more about your money than you do.
Okay.
So we see it all.
Okay.
And then they'll complain about this or that about their business. Oh, I can't scale to this, or, it all comes down to the mindset.
It's the mindset.
Yeah. Like you can have the $10,000 days if that's your goal, or the $100,000 launch, or the $1 million year, or whatever, but you have to believe it first.
Yes.
And then you have to take the aligned action.
Yes.
It's the same for dating.
It is. Ladies, are you listening to this? This is so true.
You have to believe that it's out there, but then you also can't just wait for them to like knock on your front door.
No, they don't do that, right?
I mean, mine did actually, which is kind of funny, right? Like literally we met at my front door, but
no, but of course you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, but you still have to like be on the dating app.
Yes.
That, like I was, right? Or whatever. If I know a lot of people don't like the dating apps, and
no. Let me talk about dating app really quick. I, as a relationship and dating coach, I highly, highly recommend dating apps. And I think what's happening is a lot of women, and this is what it is, and just listen to me. You don't know how to navigate the dating app in the sense of what algorithm does and your profile. And there's certain dating apps that if you put the right way how to set your profile, you actually set you in a different category. So a lot of times women, when they come to me, they'll be like, I don't like dating apps. I keep meeting these, guys. I'm like, oh girl, it's just, you need to make some shifts. So they get to make some shifts in the actual profile, and it weirdly brings the algorithm to another level, and you get some different type of men. So yes, ladies, there's a way to this. And so dating apps is just a beautiful opportunity to meet different men, because there are men there. There are a lot of great men, actually, that are on there that are looking for a relationship. Yes, there's men that are just looking for a hookup. Okay. But when you learn how to date, you can navigate that. Okay. So dating apps.
So you have to believe it.
Yep.
First, that it's out there for you.
I love it.
Take the aligned action. But I think it's also important to define what you want.
Okay.
It's the same with money. Like, okay, like I just had my big event yesterday.
Okay.
And my goal all year was to sell it out.
Okay,
but what does that mean? Like, quantify that. How many people, how much sales do you want from it? What's the budget for that event? How much do you want to make out of it after? What are you launching at the event so that it pays for the event itself? Like, there's so much that goes into that. It's the same with like, who do you want to date? Like, write down exactly who you want that to be.
Yes.
So that you can help manifest it.
Yes.
And then take the action to find the person.
Get out there.
Yeah.
Get out there. Giddy up. Get going. It's fun. It's fun putting yourself out there. It's fun being able to, if you have that mindset, because if you have that mindset, oh, this is a drag, this sucks, well, then it's going to suck.
Yeah.
And then it's not going to be fun. But when you get to shift it, you actually get to eventually meet a great guy.
Well, and like, let's say if we're still aligning money with love, like even when you're setting the goals and have the intentions and you write it down and you take the aligned action, and maybe your goal was $10,000 and you didn't hit it, but you still made $6,000.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
$6,000 is better than nothing.
Yep.
Same with dating. Like, maybe he wasn't the perfect person,
but you got out there.
But you learned something.
Yes.
You learned something about yourself.
Yes.
Maybe you could add something to the list that you know now you want or you don't want.
Yes.
And so it's not a failure.
Never.
It's always something that you learn.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. How do they get into your world?
Oh.
Seriously. How do they find you? How do they follow you? Where do they go?
I hang out on Instagram the most.
Okay.
At Your Tax Coach.
Okay.
And then on my podcast as well, Life Changing Money.
Ooh, life-changing money. So you talk about all things money?
Yeah, money, entrepreneurship, and just like people's money mindset journeys.
Fantastic. And what is your name of the podcast again?
Life Changing Money.
Life Changing Money with Barbara. What's your last name, Barbara?
Schreihans.
Schreihans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. How is life with you and your man now?
Oh my gosh, so good. We both work in the business together now.
You do?
Which, like, we could probably have a whole nother podcast on working with your spouse.
Oh, please. Come back. Will you come back?
Oh, yeah, of
Let's
course.
do it. Seriously,
Yeah.
let's do it. Because a lot of women are wanting, because I tell you, I work with a lot of successful women that have been like, I don't know, but then they find their guy, and then they're like, Charlene, can we work together? I'm like, yeah, you can. Yeah, let's try that. Let's build together now.
Yeah.
So that would actually be amazing.
And I think a lot of people struggle too with like when the woman is the breadwinner, and that dynamic of like money and power between men and women.
Yeah.
So we could talk about all of that. But now life is great. Like, we have all the same goals. We travel so well together. Like, we're always traveling. We've spent like 12 weeks this year in Europe.
Wow.
So it's great.
Listen to her. Look at that. Look at her story now.
Yeah.
Mama, hold on. That is just amazing.
Wait.
Okay. Yes.
And
what?
Okay, so we never had a wedding, right? Because we just went to the
That's right.
courthouse
You went to
that
the
one
court.
day.
Yes.
Do you know what I did this year?
What did she do? What did she do?
So he'd been bugging me for a wedding for years.
Okay.
But I was like, I don't want to plan it. You know, the woman has to plan all the things.
Yeah. You're like, I don't want to plan it.
I'm like, this is terrible. Well, I was throwing a housewarming party anyway.
Yeah.
And I ended up turning it into our wedding, and nobody knew.
No. Oh,
not
this is
even
so you. Oh,
not
my
even
goodness.
him until he walked through the door and he saw me in a white dress. And so I threw a whole ass surprise wedding this year, and that was so fun. I'll show you the pictures.
Girlfriend, please send me the pictures so I can post them. That is amazing. That is your badass. How fun was that?
Yeah, it was great.
Did he love it?
Oh, yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is it. Okay, we're turning to that now. Okay, hold on. Here you go. Hold
Ooh.
this. Woo.
Hey, look.
Hold on, girlfriend.
My tattoo is a flute.
Oh, yes.
I got this at the wedding, actually. I had a tattoo artist there. So all my girlfriends and I have a champagne flute.
Okay. You're actually just too cool. I don't know what to say right now. Like, honestly, I'm like, wow. Like, seriously. I'm like, girlfriend.
Get it.
Girlfriend.
Pop it.
I'm like, we are going to be friends. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Yum.
What an amazing conversation. No, seriously.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you.
Do you drink
for being here.
every podcast?
Everyone. Let's go. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. Cheers.
Cheers to great love.
To great love.
Thank you.
That's a wrap. What an incredible story and journey Barbara has been through. And how at a very young age she was in survivor mode and truly had to figure it out on her own. And how that plays such a role in what we feel about love, marriage, and success. Because it takes courage and it takes healing to trust and open up our hearts to something we may have never experienced before. Sometimes it is for us to look inwards and want so much more for ourselves and our lives and what is possible. And to know that no matter what you've been through or the relationships that didn't work out, great love is available for all of us. Great love is out there. You just have to truly believe and not settle for anything less than that. If you're loving this podcast and these incredible conversations, please hit the subscribe button and leave a 5-star review. Don't miss an episode because each week I'll be bringing on guests and experts who will share their knowledge about love, dating, and relationships so you can apply it into your own life. I'll see you next week. And until then, cheers to great love.